Nigeria is sinking and the world is watching in shock. I want to start this video by thanking God for exposing the deepest secrets in the country, even when our leaders, look the other way or pretend like nothing is going on because they will always tell you all is fine. For years, Africa's largest economy has been struggling, but now US journalists are crying out for us. They are now the one crying for us, exposing a crisis deeper than everyone expected. Insecurity is rising, the economy is collapsing, and political chaos threatens to tear the nation apart. What is really behind this unraveling and what it means for millions of Nigerians? That is the question every other persons are asking today. Today, we will reveal the shocking truth, the secrets, the failures, and the urgent warning signs no one wants to face. So please stay with us as we break down the facts and bring you exclusive insight from those on the front lines. This is not just a story about Nigeria. It is a wake-up call for the entire world. So please, don't look away. The future of Nigeria hangs in the balance. I beg, this one at Prospect Channels TV. Subscribe now and join us for the full report. Don't forget to share this video. Share this video, let it go viral so that Nigerians will understand what we are into. This is not a joke. Thank you. Let's get there. I will be right back.
Brian, you traveled to northern Nigeria to investigate the persecution taking place against Christians there. Tell us what you found.
Yeah, Nigeria it's in some ways a heartbreaking place because there's so much violence against Christians. In fact, over the last couple of years, we've seen over 9,000, close to 10,000 Christians who've been killed for their faith, more than any other country in the world combined. And it's happening in the north with Islamic extremists like Boko Haram or the Islamic State of West Africa province who are pushing down from the north to the south and raiding Christian communities, abducting women, forcing them into marriages with militants, and killing fathers, killing husbands, and also recruiting young men to be in their Islamic extremist regimes. And it's, again, heartbreaking, but we still see God working.
There was no Truth Nigeria. There was no media organizations. And you know what was happening to those people? To Lawrence and Masara Kim and all of them? The journalists sitting in the big capital cities, the big cities and in the capital, who were taking the line from the government and didn't have the courage or the integrity or the professionalism or the character or the motivation to go to those frontline villages. They just bought the line from the government that it wasn't really happening, and they bought the line from the US State Department that this is nomadic tribesmen being forced to move from climate change. The Fulani are not really terrorists. Oh, the fact that they're Muslims got nothing to do with it. Because they're nomadic tribesmen, they're looking for other land. They're looking to go somewhere, and that's forcing them to clash with the Christian villages. Nonsense. That's absolute nonsense. That is just an example to you of how climate has been used as a scam. I mean, it's not just fake, it's much worse than that. All of these systems that are being implemented that are so profoundly dishonest, they're systems of control. How do we control the people, control the information and the narrative, and then have that as cover to do whatever it is that we want to do? Which, by the way, is to go into Christian villages and not only annihilate people. I mean, in one of the recent attacks that Truth...
All right, please. Sorry for cutting you here. The rest part of the video you're about to watch, please just take out. Because what we're about to hear will make you understand that Nigeria is gone. You now see the reason why some regions are saying they are leaving. I go leave them, you go play, you go watch them, you go understand. So that every one of us go understand waiting they happen. This one now, go be story when be said and they tell you need to understand waiting they happen for your country. Do we still have a country? These are the questions so many Nigerians who are current about the situation of the country, they are asking, do we still have a country? Or Are we sure Nigeria will be able to survive this crisis from now to 5 years' time? What is our fate? Our politicians are busy strategizing for 2027. Are they really thinking about us? The youth, what is our fate? Are you still planning along with them to go and hijack ballot boxes? There is fire on the mountain. If you don't know, you need to know now. So guys, let's hit the video, the full video. I will be right back.
The information and the narrative, and then have that as cover to do whatever it is that we want to do, which, by the way, is to go into Christian villages and not only annihilate people. I mean, in one of the recent attacks that Truth Nigeria has reported on, putting women and children inside cages in the market and burning them alive. I mean, I was sitting down to dinner in my hometown in Texas one Friday night years ago. My husband was with me. It was when we were trying to get the sound of freedom was being blocked because people didn't want child trafficking to be a conversation everyone was having. And we were doing our best to help get that movie put out. And I got a video. I showed it to my husband as we sat down. He couldn't eat. And it was a young 18-year-old girl from Nigeria who was pulled from one of the villages. And as they were slicing off her head, they were digging her baby out of her tummy. And she was well advanced in pregnancy. That's the reality of what, when you put those numbers up and you go before your colleagues in Congress and you put those numbers forward, that's what it means in human terms. I mean, Lawrence once was calling Doug and myself, he's sitting in the back of a meat wagon on the bodies of his friends and neighbors. With malaria, remember? After that, he went out with malaria for weeks. I mean, these the courage of the people who are on the front lines reporting this cannot be overstated. But the challenge that they face is that the media itself denies the reality that they see and report on with their own eyes and ears. I mean, that's without conscience. Honestly, I stand before all of you in the National Press Club of the United States of America, the most powerful free nation on earth, where we have First Amendment rights. And I cannot say strongly enough to the press corps, do your job. Do your job. Because we are supposed to be the inspiration and also the safety net for journalists everywhere. It is truly without conscience that you can witness the execution of people and have it denied because journalists are too lazy, too corrupt, too stupid, too cowardly to stand up and tell the truth. That is without conscience. And, we have to stop being afraid of what people will say to us. We have to stop allowing those who tell the truth to be punished and those who lie to be rewarded.
Now, having seen this video, I want you to sit back a bit and listen to what Nigerian security agencies are talking about these killings in Nigeria. And what they said is the solution. The solution is Ruga. The solution is this. Please, I wouldn't talk about it. Just sit back and listen to them. Then you do well to drop your comment on the comment section. Anyway, as I said, thank God that gradually, this news is getting to the West. So please, watch it. Then you drop your comment on the comment section what you think about it. Because I tell you that a lot of things are happening in Nigeria. Please, watch this video.
Farmer-herder clashes. It looks like it's kind of community skirmishes. Well, this appears to be a much bigger thing.
There's a lot. We have the herders in it, we have the kidnappers in it, we have the criminals in it, we have the terrorists, everybody's playing a part in it.
And you're mobilizing for all
that together, because we have to deal with them all at the same time. And the way it is that we have different challenges in different regions. And this is peculiar. Like I said, historically, it's gone back, way back. And it started in the past. If a cow enters a farm and damages a farm, the cow is arrested or caught, compensation and paid, or if they kill an animal suddenly, it's compensated. So over time, that stopped. What stopped it? That's the problem. So we started losing faith with those ones. Instead of these settlements, people started taking laws into their hands. If the cow gets into the farmer gets angry, deals with the cow. If he deals with the cow, the owner of the cow also gets angry and attacks the.
So there is revenge.
So there is revenge. So these are the issues on ground.
Right.
And so which means, from my own assessment, three things matter. The people in Benue State believe that there's land grabbing going on. They have that perception. And because over time this has happened. Now, most of our troops, when we send them on patrol, some of the areas are empty. Nobody is there, but there is no foreigner there. But the idea is that if you go in there, you might be attacked. One thing. Secondly, the issue of the animals. The animals stray into farms. Now, because if you know Benue, it is lush and it's very attractive to animals. If an animal gets into a farm, there's always a problem. It creates problems. Now, if you arrest the animal or you kill the animal, it becomes another issue.
Right.
So if we stop the animals from moving, there won't be issue. If we stop killing the animals, there won't be issue. So for me, these two things are basic. The issue of land grabbing is political. The government, state government particularly, need to really step in to ensure that we address and bring all the parties together.
Right.
Sit down and agree on this, and from henceforth, any acts that is conducted is acts of criminality. The defense headquarters has just established its defense ranch because we want to show example as part of our non-kinetic effort. Sometimes we show example, so we do a model of a ranch. I had the opportunity to have been the first executive director for Nigerian Army Farms when I established, and we established a ranch. It's in Abuja. Once you ranch, animals are properly fed, properly taken care of, you get more value. You don't need to take them around. So that is critical. And so our example is, we think it is important that we get some farmland, federal government or through the livestock, we work together in partnership, we build model ramps so that people can see what the ranch looks like and the important. And then secondly, you could also give opportunity for people to come and invest and build pastures, grassland, so to say, because the animals need this grass. So if you provide that and you stop them from moving around to enter into farms, this conflict will stop. And then gradually confidence, because as it is now, confidence has been lost. Both parties don't see eye to eye. And that's why it's critical that we must make them communicate. We must make them understand.
And what is the decision on the ranching?
Yeah. I think the Mr. President is
going ahead now.
No, it's going ahead. Mr. President
they started it. I mean, the former governor started it.
No, but now we have the Minister of Livestock.
Right.
And Mr. President called him there and gave him.
Troops were fighting Boko Haram and ISWAP in the northeast. They were also battling armed herders in the Middle Belt, bandits in the northwest, and insurgents in the southeast. And as fighting continues to rage on multiple fronts, so is the army stretched to the limit. And now, with the north central region erupting again, as well as the resurgence of fighting in the northeast, where everyone thought Boko Haram had been neutralized, Nigeria's military is being pulled deeper into internal conflicts, placing an enormous strain on its capabilities. So with all these crises brewing, Nigeria's defense chief, General Christopher Musa, has become the first top official to publicly suggest building a defense wall across Nigeria's borders and fencing the country in. He attributes much of the conflicts raging across Nigeria to foreign fighter infiltration, all of them coming in, searching for a piece of this country's perceived riches. So in that regard, how critical is it to take full control of Nigeria's borders before it's too late?
People say, no, it's impossible. Pakistan fenced 1,350 kilometer border with Afghanistan. That was the only time they had peace. Saudi Arabia and Iraq, 1,400 kilometers fenced completely. Can we start thinking of fencing our borders? We have 1,500 kilometers with Niger Republic, 1,900 kilometers with Cameroon. Chad is there. All over us, surrounded by Francophone countries, and the Sahel is heating up.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined now by the man you saw in that video, Nigeria's Chief of Defense Staff, General Christopher Musa. Great to see you again. Thank you very much indeed for making time to talk to us, because I know you've had a long few days.
Very well.
I'm going to get to the issue of the border in a minute, but first of all, the President yourself, the head of the police, the heads of the intelligence agencies, the National Security Advisor, and a host of other security and political leaders were all in Benue State on Wednesday. How much impact do you think that had on the morale of the people there, who are in the eye of the storm of this latest surge of insecurity, or is that debatable?
Thank you very much. Once again, thank you for inviting me. I'm glad to be here. I think it is very important that we understand that the presence of Mr. President in Benue State has really gone to show the people that he's not far away from them. He feels what they're feeling and wants this to stop. With the members of the security forces all being there together, it shows that solidarity on the part of government together, including members of the legislative and all. So it shows that we need, whenever any part of this country is suffering or has an issue, that love, that care is what this has shown, that the president really cares and everybody wants this thing to end. And it is a morale booster to especially our own troops too, seeing that the president is there and still, because we lost two
yes, indeed,
we lost a policeman.
Our sympathies go out to you.
And so those are the issues we're still, and I think they really appreciate at least that the president was able to even take time to come around and see. And you know, the first place he went to was the hospital to see how those injured were and all the things he mentioned that the federal government was going to the states. And that's the importance, to show solidarity with the people.
But of course, beyond the photo ops and the appeals for peace and reconciliation which he was making while he was there, the expectation was that what we would hear would be of arrests that have been made with lightning speed and a real sort of game-changing intervention from the security service. But we didn't hear or see that.
That has been done. Because it was not announced, does not mean it's not taking place.
Have you arrested anybody there?
The police has arrested a number of people,
right.
And actions have been taken. Investigations ongoing with the DSS, the police. You know, it takes a lot. Because we are law-abiding individuals, so we have to be sure of what we're doing. And I think that's a critical aspect. But all the security forces are working together to ensure that this stops. You know, if you look at how did we get to where we are over time, you know, issues have been on ground. Small skirmishes have been going on because law and order is not there. Punishment has not been meted on individuals who have committed. A criminal is a criminal. Everyone who commits a crime should be prosecuted. That has not been done. So that is the issue. And this thing has been...
But why do you think it's not being done?
Well, I think... I really don't, like I said, most of it is...
You don't want to get into the politics.
I don't want to get into the politics.
Right, I can understand that.
Yes.
But let me put it another way. What is your sense of how best we should characterize what's going on in Benue State and the rest of that north-central region? Are there still, should we still be calling them farmer-herder clashes, or should we now call it what it is, which is pure terrorism? Because the barbarity with which these crimes are carried out, the fury, it looks like something by Boko Haram or ISWAP.
So let me tell you, I think it's a lot. It's just a portfolio of all of them playing out together. And, you know, criminals have a tendency to want to work together. So you can't rule that out.
But if you don't call it terrorism, I don't mean to interrupt you, then you're not going to get the kind of resources you need to really tackle it. If you keep calling it farmer-herder clashes, it looks like it's kind of community skirmishes. When this appears to be a much bigger thing.
There's a lot. We have the herders in it, we have the kidnappers in it, we have the criminals in it, we have the terrorists, everybody is playing a part in it.
And you're mobilizing for all
that together, because we have to deal with them all at the same time. And you know, the way it is that we have different challenges in different regions, and this is peculiar. Like I said, historically it's gone back, way back, and it started in the past. If a cow enters a farm and damages a farm, the cow is arrested or caught, compensation and paid, or if they kill an animal suddenly, it's compensated. So over time, that stopped. What stopped it? That's the problem. So we started losing faith with those ones. Instead of these settlements, people started taking laws into their hands. If the cow gets into the farmer gets angry, deals with the cow. If he deals with the cow, the owner of the cow also gets angry and attacks the
So there is revenge.
So there is revenge. So these are the issues on ground.
Right.
And so which means, from my own assessment, three things matter. The people in Benue State believe that there's land grabbing going on. They have that perception. And because over time this has happened. Now, most of our troops, when we send them on patrol, some of the areas are empty. Nobody is there, but there is no foreigner there. But the idea is that if you go in there, you might be attacked. One thing. Secondly, the issue of the animals. The animals stray into farms. Now, because if you know Benue, it is lush and it's very attractive to animals. If an animal gets into a farm, there's always a problem. It creates problems. Now, if you arrest the animal or you kill the animal, it becomes another issue.
Right.
So if we stop the animals from moving, there won't be issue. If we stop killing the animals, there won't be issue. So for me, these two things are basic. The issue of land grabbing is political. The government, state government particularly, need to really step in to ensure that we address and bring all the parties together.
Right.
Sit down and agree on this. And from henceforth, any acts that is conducted is acts of criminality. We can start dealing with that from then. And I think we'll have peace if we're able to do that.
Well, I mean, one of the things that the president suggested while he was there was the issue of ranching.
Yeah.
Is that something that you would support?
I will go with that. I will go with ranching. And I tell you, the defense headquarters has just established its defense ranch because we want to show example as part of our non-kinetic effort. Sometimes we show example. So we do a model of a ranch. I had the opportunity to have been the first executive director for Nigerian Army Farms when I established, and we established a ranch. It's in Abuja. Once you ranch, animals are properly fed, properly taken care of, you get more value. You don't need to take them around. So that is critical. And so our example is, we think it is important that we get some farmland, federal government or through the livestock, we work together in partnership. We build model ramps so that people can see what the ranch looks like and the importance. And then secondly, you could also give opportunity for people to come and invest and build pastures, grassland, so to say, because the animals need this grass. So if you provide that and you stop them from moving around to enter into farms, this conflict will stop. And then gradually confidence, because as it is now, confidence has been lost. Both parties don't see eye to eye, and that's why it's critical that we must make them communicate. We must make them understand.
And what is the decision on the ranching thing?
Yeah. I think the Mr. President is
going ahead now.
No, it's going ahead. Mr. President
they started it. I mean, the former governor started it.
No, but you know now we have the Minister of Livestock,
right?
And Mr. President called him there and gave him a directive. He wants it established. So we're also going to partner with him directly to ensure that it's done.
Right. Well, that's a good start. But of course, your problems go beyond Benue State, don't they? I mean, according to the latest figures released by the security and intelligence firm Beacon Consulting, which you probably heard of, about 1,098 people have been killed in Benue State since President Tinubu came to office 2 years ago. That is a staggering number of people. In any other country, I mean, if one person in the UK is killed, the entire security apparatus is called up.
Yeah.
1,800 people, 1,098 people, have been killed in Benue State since President Tinubu came to office 2 years ago. But even Borno State is even worse. It has seen 3,800 people killed in 2 years, followed by Katsina, Zamfara, and Benue State even comes fifth.
Yeah.
And across the 36 states, 17,000 people have been killed. Are you horrified, as I am, by those incredibly high figures?
For any death, even if there's just one person, even if it's just one life that is lost,
but how is it, General, that so many people can die in the space of 2 years?
Well, like I said, once you have issues with law and order, people take to impunity. It is the impunity we're dealing with. People have no regard for life. Maybe in the past, during the past regimes, efforts were being made to make sure that we talk. But over time, I think we lost that. And so, one basic thing, the family values have gone. We all can attest to that. And you can see that people now have no value for life. If there's an accident and something happens, instead of individuals to actually deal with the person, the patient, you see them removing phones, and people have no value for life. So killing now makes it look as if it's just a common thing now. So those are this. And then because the Sahel, I always mention that because the Sahel is open, we have a bunch of lunatics, so to say, that have no regard for anybody. And these are the guys that have come and have inculcated in these individuals that are doing this killing. So to them, if you are not with them, you are better dead.
And the problem for you that I see, because I mean, a lot of people see quite a lot of sincerity on your part. I mean, the problem for you is that you're the army, you're not the police.
Yeah. And that's all other issues that need to come in. Like I said, for a country to really thrive very well, we have countries that don't even have the military, and yet they're thriving. But you cannot have a country without the police, because they prevent and detect crime. So efforts are being made now to see how we can reposition police. I was in the IGP and we had this discussion, even with Mr. President and the NSC. There's a need to look at how we increase the size of the police, but training. Why the military is still standing strong is our level of training is consistent. We are not many, but yet we train consistent. I told you, I was at the NDA. I joined the NDA in 1986. I have been writing exams until I became a Major General. For every position I got to, I wrote an exam for it. So you are trained and you are prepared for the future, and that's very, very critical.
So refresh your
courses. You go different courses. You go, even our junior officers and our soldiers, before you get promoted, you must have done certain number of courses. So this keeps you abreast, and that's what I think we should also transfer to the police, so that we have very, very determined professional people that will actually do this.
And I think that makes a lot of sense.
It makes a lot, yes, definitely.
And the word professionalism is key.
It's critical.
And there was a call, I mean, we saw you on television just a minute ago, the clip we used there, a call by you for Nigeria's borders to be completely fenced.
Yes, I reason because, having gone through my analysis and looking at the Sahel, the main attraction to all these terrorists and bandits is Nigeria. Because this perception Nigeria is a rich country,
and that that there's no law to prevent them from getting in,
and the borders are porous. So now the easiest way is, and that's why it's important. If you follow the news and see the kind of killings going on in Niger, Chad, Burkina Faso, and Mali, it's so much. If this continues like this in the next 1 year, there will be issues. I know of recent there were attacks from Burkina Faso in Benin Republic. It's just 50 kilometers to Nigeria. That is another area. So for me, I think, and like I mentioned, all around us, we have Francophone countries. Our ideologies are not the same. For us to be secured, it is important. Let us fence our borders. Some people say, look, it's expensive. But I say, what is money if you are dead?
Indeed.
It's of no use. So countries that have sat down and have analyzed and seen that, look, strategically is important, because once you fence that area, you use technology now. You have cameras, you have drones that will go. It reduces the manpower you need to engage in that area, and they could be used elsewhere. So that's important. And besides that, now for Pakistan, they use wire mesh. Double wire mesh for all that distance. So if the distance is 1,000, they use double, which means 2,000. And they use concertina wire at the middle, so that even if you penetrate here, before you get through here, you are seen and action is taken. That has given them respite. That's what we are looking at. We have Ajaokuta steel mill, we have rolling mills in Nigeria. We could engage them, we don't need to go anywhere. We just tax them from here, they can produce what we need, and then we deploy. Now you see the level of employment we're going to, opportunities we're going to bring in building those aspects. And the most critical one for us now, even if we were to start, let's start with Nigeria and Niger.
Is that the most dangerous?
That's the most dangerous, because the Lakrawas, that's where they're coming in.
Yes.
The Boko Harams that are coming in from the Sahel are coming, the ISWAP guys are coming in all through those areas. So that's why it's critical. If we start from there, and we can start state-wise, at the same time, each state will start on its own, and before you know it, we're there.
Yes, and that's a good point. It doesn't have to be just
it doesn't have federal. It could start at every level. But the important thing is, look, we have a threat that we have to really, really look at. It is very critical and it's very important.
Well, I mean, you are at the very highest level of the military. I mean, have you made the suggestion to the president?
Yes.
I mean, do you pick up the phone and you call him, do you?
I don't call the president. I mean,
basically.
Yes,
you
but
meet
we
him
discuss-
you meet him in
discuss-
person
yeah, definitely,
sometimes.
yes, we do.
Because, I mean, apart from the fact that, as you correctly identified, that it will be hugely expensive, because, I mean, in that video, people probably didn't see it, but you talked about the how long the borders are. I mean, you're talking about over 1,000 kilometers all around. And so you're looking at...
The whole of Nigeria is about 4,000.
Yeah, 4,000 something kilometers.
But again, you know, we have
and
some
each
areas...
border has 1,000 something
Yes.
kilometers.
You know, we have some areas that are riverine, so that's when you don't need to do that. You just need to maintain some patrol. So it's not all... but the important thing, we start with the most critical aspects.
Right.
And that's very critical.
But what kind of reaction are you getting to that suggestion at the very highest level?
I can tell you it's been very positive. I mean, I was amazed. I thought I was saying something that people were going to go crazy. But, you know, my soldiers down below called me and said, thank you, sir. That if it means cutting out our salaries to do that, well, we want that.
Well, people are suggesting, based on what you said, that instead of cutting the salaries of the military, who we need, why don't they stop that Lagos to Calabar highway and put the money there? So that because, I mean, what you're saying is critical.
Yeah. No, well, I'm just trying to buttress the fact that even the soldiers down below think it is critical and it's important for us to do that. I've met people have said to me, look, during my researches, I wrote about the borders. I talked to people about it, and people laughed at me and said it was impossible. I have people sending me their projects on when they have discussed on this issue. So it's been ongoing. It's just that a lot of people didn't have the opportunity to actually say it. So bringing it out, I think, you know, created a lot of avenue and a lot of discourse on it, and which I think is right. We look at the issues and see. If we think doing a concrete wall is what, we look at wire mesh, but we must protect our borders. And the idea of putting manpower all through is not possible.
Right.
Definitely we can hold that.
Well, we're fast running out of time, and I know you're busy, so we appreciate your being here. But let me ask you a fairly political question, if you don't mind. I mean,
politics.
Do you think the kind of insecurity that we're seeing in that middle belt zone and in Borno State in the northeast, for example, calls for a state of emergency, perhaps much more justifiably so than Rivers State?
That's politics. I really don't want to go into that. But all I know for real is that what we are facing are man-made problems. If man is ready to solve them, there wouldn't be problems. So it is for us to really look at this thing sincerely, sit down and address them. Talking together to each other, we will find solution to what's going on.
And
it's not difficult.
Yeah, and as you're looking at people, I mean, groups like Boko Haram and ISWAP, which seem to be resurgent, whereas in the recent past, one of the things we're told is that the groups were fighting each other and killing themselves. We're told now that that infighting has stopped, and this is why they're able to forward face the Nigerian military and the public.
The infighting
is that a fact?
No, the infighting is still going on, and the Nigerian military, in fact, in all these countries, it's only the Nigerian military that has been taking them down. So far, within the Boko Haram commanders and Delis, we have killed over almost 80 of the commanders. But you know, the problem is the borders are empty, people are infiltrating, there is a lot of poverty right from the Sahelian region. The whole of Sovereign, from Sudan, Central African Republic, cutting down up to even Mali, and all this, Mali and Libya, is open. Free trade of weapons, no leadership. So that's why it's easier for these things to infiltrate down into Nigeria.
Right.
And that's why, even with the killings, as you are killing, more still want to come in. And then there's poverty, there's illiteracy.
But there also appears to be improvements in the use of technology by the insurgents.
Also, definitely, and that's why we're talking about the foreign fighters. We had information about some other ones coming together, because some of them also go for foreign training abroad, and then they want to use technology, drones particularly.
Right.
We have had reasons to see them use drones. But again, after the initial, about 5 weeks ago, that we had those setbacks, we have re-strategized our operations, and now they're on the run. We have taken down so many as we speak. Just yesterday, we were able to do the same thing in Baga. We're doing all over areas, especially in the northwest. Again, because we have now synergized again and enhanced our jointness in operation. And one thing I'm always happy about again is that Nigerians are warming up to us. In the past, people were a bit skeptical, thinking that, look, if I give information, maybe what will happen to me? Or if I give information, nothing is done. But now they have seen that information comes in, action is taken as quickly as possible. And I think that has always endured their man. And we really appreciate Nigerians for doing that. I want to appeal that we should not get tired. Like we said, it's a whole of society approach. We need everybody to be on board. We must learn to love ourselves as Nigerians, because that's where the issue starts from. We must learn to love our country, because I had a media chat and I was telling the media men, the idea of that, it seems somehow that when a soldier is killed, we celebrate it. When we kill a terrorist or a bandit, nothing is being said. So the soldier that is doing this is asking questions. Then what am I doing here? I'm sacrificing my family, sacrificing everything. I showed a small clip, I think we'll show it later, on what troops go through. One of the soldiers that was there couldn't talk because the bullet pierced through and through. He doesn't have his vocab call anymore. And so those are the issues we're talking about. Nigerians must love that. Even with this, what's going on, we must love ourselves, we must love our country, we must support our government, and then we must support our armed forces. Encouragement is very critical. It makes them want to do more. Indeed. But when you discourage them, you demoralize them. And when you demoralize your troop, there's nobody. And one thing I always want to remind people, these are the guys standing guard for people to sleep. We're here in Abuja, I mean, feeling cool. These guys are there, they are fighting day in, day out. If they pull out, what will happen? Abuja will not be safe. So we should always remember that there are people that are sacrificing so much for the comfort we're enjoying. And all we can do is pray for them, support them, and encourage them.
And thank you for that salutary reminder.
All right, guys, this is not a joke. This is really very serious, and we need to take this serious. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.